Welcome to CBT News with Shyann Malone.
Good morning and welcome to CBT News Daily Newscast. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for joining us today. And now, here's today's top stories.
IC Cars conducted an analysis of over 82,000 new and used car inventories from November 2020 to November 2023. The research found the market share of traditional non-Tesla new EVs increased from 16.5% to 55.1% over the same three-year period. The number of used EVs sold increased from 17.1% to 29.4%. However, despite the recent growth of new car dealers selling EVs, the report indicates that 44.9% of dealers do not carry them. When excluding brands without an EV model, the number only rises to 73.5%, suggesting that there are maybe other factors for dealers' reluctance to carry EVs for sale. According to the vehicle shopping experts at Edmunds, opposing market forces are expected to keep new vehicle sales relatively stable in the coming year. However, Edmunds experts have identified three major industry trends that they believe will shape the roads in 2024. Along with some relevant consumer insights. These trends include new vehicle prices leveling off after a period of aggressive increases, EVs continuing to disrupt brand loyalty, and the sales share of hybrids increasing as automakers reevaluate their electrification strategies. GM's Cruise Autonomous Vehicle Unit has fired 9, quote, key leaders and will lay off 900 employees due to ongoing safety probes sparked by an October accident in San Francisco, California. According to a new company-wide message, it stated that, quote, new leadership is necessary, end quote, for the brand to regain trust and operate, quote, with the highest standards regarding safety, integrity, and accountability, end quote. The dismissals included leaders from Cruise's legal and government affairs, commercial operations, safety, and systems teams. Although the company acknowledged the remaining layoffs were not the fault of its employees, the labor cuts were expected to reduce Cruise's workforce by 24%. Volkswagen's electric subsidiary Scout Motors has announced its plan to expand its footprint in the U.S. by building a new production design and engineering facility in Michigan. On December 12th, the Michigan Strategic Fund granted Scout $11 million to establish the Innovation Center in Novi, Michigan, where the 80,000 square foot facility will primarily house engineering staff and create 200 employment opportunities. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, an all-star panel. Jim Appleton, president of the New Jersey Coalition of Automotive Retailers. Don Hall, president of the Virginia Automobile Dealers Association. Brian Moss, president of the California New Car Dealers Association, and Ted Smith, president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association. They're here to discuss the latest deal involving Amazon and Hyundai, along with a recent letter sent to President Biden regarding EVs. We'll be right back.
Well, if you're not already subscribed to CBT News, now is the perfect time to do it. For over a decade, CBT has brought you exclusive and in-depth interviews with dealer principals, OEM executives, industry analysts, and top-level sales and management trainers. Join the thousands of automotive professionals that rely on CBT News for the insights that drive profits and maximize the bottom line. Subscribe today.
Jim, let me start with you. What is your take on this Amazon Hyundai partnership announcement from what we know so far?
Well, I think you kind of characterized it well, Jim. Is it just another lead generator, or is this something transformational and threatening? I guess I have three concerns. First, is it direct sales? Secondly, even if it's not direct sales, is Hyundai's partnership with Amazon put Amazon in a position where they're engaging in the business of buying, selling, or dealing in motor vehicles such that they would require a license in most states? And then lastly, and this is really my most serious concern or reservation about all this, is are we giving Amazon the keys to the castle? Are we giving Amazon a learning experience that's going to either power their future EV model sales or allow them to partner with direct sellers and to learn from the Hyundai, an innocent, let's say, Hyundai experience, how to dismantle piece by piece the franchise model.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Don, what about you? What's your take on this, and what are you hearing from your dealers?
Well, first of all, I agree with everything that Jim Appleton just said, number one, first and foremost. Two, I think he would say the same as well, that we're not just concerned about Hyundai. We know factually there are other OEMs coming soon enough. And dealers, because of the philosophy of, 30 days, got to close strong, got to sell cars, are going to allow themselves to be caught up in this trap, assuming that this is the answer to all their problems. I have major concerns. We just recently had a series of meetings throughout Virginia last week, and dealers are very concerned about their way of life, but more importantly, how customers are really taken care of. We all on this call today use Amazon. All of us do. But the reality is a car is very different. And I'm sure, Jim, you'll delve more into that. Cars are very, very different.
That's right. That's right. And Brian, what say you on this issue, and what are your dealers telling you?
Yeah, I agree with my colleagues. I think what hasn't been covered so far is the fact that retail purchase transactions are very complicated. We asked Hyundai directly in a call a couple of weeks ago, how are you going to handle trade-in? What happens if a customer can't get financed by Hyundai Financial down the road? Is Amazon going to offer its own financing? And I want to hit harder on a point that Jim made. If Amazon is collecting money to help retail these vehicles, they could be a broker in many states, and that would require both licensure as a dealer and perhaps as a broker. And we've challenged other entities in California who've been illegally brokering. So there are a lot more open questions than there are answers at this point. Yeah,
for sure. And Ted, what about you? Are you guys ready in Florida for this fight? Or it could be a fight?
Like a lot of programs right now, Jim, and I think my buddies would agree with me, information is coming out in very small bits and pieces. So it's hard to put the program together, and my dealers don't understand what's going to happen with this program. I've had a call with a large number, probably at least 50% of my Hyundai dealers were on a Zoom call with me. We talked about the program. I've never seen so much silence in my life. There's just so little information. What really concerns me when a program like this comes out on behalf of my dealers is, are their dealers going to be involved, and how involved? A lot of times, having dealers involved enables third parties, in this case like Amazon, to do things that they could not do if there were no dealers. Jim hit that point. Is Amazon trying to establish itself as a dealership? I think if it does, then they're going to have challenges from everybody. All of my dealers in Florida, we're going to take action on that. I think everybody would in all of the states around the country. But when dealers start to play, Jim, it makes it difficult for us to figure out, okay, if there are dealers in place, how do we oppose programs like this? And the last thing I would say is, ask your dealers, because I asked mine. Jose Munoz said, this is end-to-end transactions in the Amazon store. That's a direct quote from some of the stuff that I heard him say or read. And how many of our dealers are really doing end-to-end transactions, Jim, with their current customers?
Right.
They have the capability to do that. You know what I'm seeing when I ask my dealers that? I get this, 0.
Right.
And it's not because we don't have the tools. It's because the customer pulls out of that process before the end game and they go to the dealership to make it really happen.
Well, that does it for our show today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on CBTnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Shyann Malone, and on behalf of all of us at CBT News, see you next time.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content.